he had not been charged at that time just because the murder had happened. So they can say that, oh, he didn't have any charges prior to that. But he didn't.
He charged, he hadn't been convicted.
He hadn't been convicted of them. So they're just playing on the words.
They're twisting those two things.
They're twisting the words.
Or convicted of another violent crime. Well, that's because he was busy murdering someone.
Right.
He didn't have time to do it.
Jones had 3 felony convictions prior to the murder. 1 for unlawful use of a fictitious name in an application for state ID, 1 for larceny from a retailer, and 1 for false declaration to a pawnbroker and concealing stolen property. Subsequent to Mr. Paul Howell's murder, Jones pled guilty to robbery with a firearm and unlawful possession of a firearm. This offense arose out of an armed carjacking of a vehicle outside of a Hideaway restaurant within a week before his murder. The driver of this vehicle identified Jones. In addition, substantial evidence linked Jones acting in concert with Jordan to a carjacking which occurred just days before the instant offense and a day before the carjacking of the Mercedes. The stolen vehicle, a Mercedes, was recovered from the Norman apartment complex where Jones lived. After Jordan and Jones were arrested for Howell's murder, the key to the stolen Mercedes was found in the cutlass shared by the 2 men. So just proved again that was him. This is just laying it out there. He also attempted to elude a police officer. He was arrested while driving a stolen car. Mm-hmm. He had a loaded gun during this incident and also a pair of gloves and a pair of pantyhose in his pocket, which alludes to Megan's description. He robbed a jewelry store at gunpoint, committed another carjacking at the same Hideaway during the same week, and fought with a detention officer. Regarding Jones' arrest while he was driving a stolen car, he admitted to his girlfriend that he had stolen it from a Quail Springs Mall parking lot. Jones stole this car before he started spending time with Jordan. Jones's girlfriend also confirmed an association with the car taken in the Hideaway carjacking, which she assumed he had jacked. In addition, after Jones committed armed robbery at the jewelry store at Quail Springs Mall, in which gold chains were among the items taken. Jones gave his girlfriend some gold chains to hold on to until he got back. So that was just the history of his prior instances right before there.
I think this also reiterates, because there have been statements made by Julius Jones that he didn't even know Christopher Jordan. There's been, again, the statement of him, all of his different statements. Haven't we also had, and during the trial, there were a couple people, and I will not name names, that came out and talked to the investigators on his character and how, these were friends of his. Also, an old cellmate that had come out and said that he, was this greedy person, that he talked about carjacking and how he did it and why he did it was to get, presents for his girlfriends, and just kind of testifying to his character. And then also, some people, the cellmates also had come out and said that he also had said that he did these things.
Totally not the profile that they projected.
Exactly, in the media, that this guy is, they say, oh, he didn't have any violent crimes prior to this. Mm-hmm. And I think that that's just one of those, misinformation that's in this media. Everybody's like, oh my gosh, he was such a good kid. He would never do such a thing. How could he ever commit a murder if he's never committed a murder? He couldn't.
That brings up another point. Hey, to his character. What type of person has a character of lying if he plays sports for a collegiate school?
Right.
And then yet he's this amazing academic student when he had a 0.8 GPA.
Well, I just think that people tend to gloss over these, again, that are facts. We have the police reports. We have all these things. Their defense and their team is trying to, again, point the finger elsewhere at somebody else for doing these, which it is, factually, again, and it's not accurate. The fact that he was this clean-cut person is not accurate.
He was out being a thief and a criminal and a thug, not going to school or trying to
and again, everybody keeps hanging. Their team keeps hanging a hat on these little pieces of things, that he was had this bright future and all of this stuff. His family said that. Everybody's saying this kind of stuff when we saw at the time and knew he was not going down the right path. He had made a bunch of choices, and he was a freight train as well. Yeah. He was on a path that was out of control. And also
And,
that
yeah.
led to these aggravating, factors that went into consideration during his sentencing of the trial. And again, we're
He
not going
was
to go into that stuff,
making-
but all
yeah.
of these things boiled up. So the fact that they are claiming that he did not have any prior violent offenses is 100% incorrect. Now,
Another
given
lie.
another lie, but given that some of these, since the timing of it, he had not been charged at that time just because the murder had happened. So they can say that, oh, he didn't have any charges prior to that, but he didn't.
He's been charged, he hadn't been convicted.
He had
Right,
been
he had been
convicted of
convicted.
them. So they're just playing on the words.
They're twisting those
They're-
two things.
they're twisting
He's
the
never been
words.
charged or convicted of another violent crime. Well, that's because he was busy murdering someone.
Right.
Right.
He
He,
didn't have time to do it.
Well,
Yeah.
one thing that was pointed out is that, that type of evidence is not admissible during the trial unless he had been convicted. Now, during the sentencing phase, which was a 3-day trial that occurred at the end of the regular trial, all that came up. But the Jones people just conspicuously eliminate the 3-day sentencing trial and all those charges that came up and just skip over that.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
Well, he was asked to leave the basketball team
What I heard.
because of some problems, and that was a juvenile situation,
Right,
so
so you don't know.
no, we don't know what the problems
Yeah.
were, but.
I've asked him 100 times about his juvenile record, but that's sealed and you
Yeah.
can't get to that.
So Christopher Jordan and Julius Jones knew each other when they both attended Santa Fe High
They were
School.
acquainted for a long, and they were friends.
Oh,
That's-
Yeah, I mean, they shared it. They shared the car together.
Right.
I
But the
mean,
Jones people.
So that's
ignored
another
that.
lie.
again, but
That's
then they
another
say that
lie.
he came to spend the night at their house. So if they didn't really know each other, then why would they be hosting some random child at their house? I know I would not let a random child in my home especially during a time like this when things are so fiery. So it just kind of snowballs into all these stories that they're continuing to tell about. They're just going down these different avenues, just trying to find something that will stick in the media, and they did. They
They're
found
just trying
something
to
that
keep
stuck in the
everyone away from
media.
actual facts.
But I think that it's an important point to point out that the investigators, again, in this full-blown trial, found multiple sources of people that testified to his character, and stories and cellmates and letters that he has written to other people. All these, again, corroborate the story that he was going down the wrong path, and he was not this person that they said he is, and that he was a very different person. Again, that even the defense now is trying to say that he's some leader. Yes, I think that's just an important topic, that all of these people, again, in social media are fighting for somebody. It's like, why can't we just put our interest in someone that is actually a really good person?
What got me on the part on parole board hearing was one of the committee members said that they think he should maybe be mentoring other kids.
And
That about made me sick.
all of which he said he spent 2 hours, and same with the other, I don't think we can use names, but the other person that was there for him, it's a public trial. So they spent a cumulative 4 hours with Julius Jones, and now think that they can speak on this character that he has.
Right.
And obviously,
Which is kinda scary.
Well, it is, it's
And
terrifying.
they want him mentoring other young
I mean,
children.
would you send your children? No.
Active gang member,
Yep.
convicted
Yeah.
of murder. 12 jurors convicted him.
Doing drugs in prison.
13 court appellate judges
I mean-
convicted him. The Oklahoma Supreme Court convicted him. He tested positive for drugs while on death row. So you get out, 1-2 hours
Yeah.
a day? So in this time, in those 2 hours, he's gotten drugs, and he's gotten how many tattoos while on lockdown, on death row?
Yeah.
How many?
All further incriminating
This
him.
is
Gang
and
affiliations.
gang-related
Absolutely.
tattoos. Like, why would anybody want someone like that
To manage
out?
your child.
would you
And
want
to
your kid?
mentor
Yeah.
your children?
Yeah.
You would,